I'm on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. Connect with me on Patreon and we will grow, and I will give you much more deep insights on Vedic astrology, and lot more secrets will be shared there. Aries Ascendant. For Aries Ascendant, Mars will move, which is your Ascendant Lord, in the 12th house. Now when Mars goes in the 12th house, your 8th Lord also goes in the 12th house, which means Mars is causing a Vipreet Rajyog with respect to Scorpio, but a 12th position of placement with respect to Lagna. So it is good for people who are relocating to a foreign country, who want to shift to a different city for their career. It's a great time for people who want to move to a different location for education. If you want to start an export and import business, or if you really want to go international, if you want to go away from your local space. This can bring a tremendous amount of career changes, and it will take initiatives which will make you be more self-centered, confident, and you will try to keep yourself away from all the toxic environment, and a lot of release of negative energy will happen. But from the health perspective, because your Ascendant Lord is in 12th house, you need to be careful. Drive carefully, avoid eating oily food, avoid eating any food that is too tamasic in nature. Try to remain sattvic because Mars will be with Rahu. Try not to buy any vehicle this particular month because Mars is going to collide with Rahu around 18th of May, and this will be an Angarak Yoga. This will also keep you always on the edge, always on the toes. Something will always keep on changing. So you will see, no matter how much you try to control, things will always end up moving in a different direction. It's like writing on sand near an ocean. Every time a wave comes, the writing goes away. So you need to be adaptive, flexible. If you are stubborn, it can cause a lot of problems. Now when Mars is in 12th house, it will definitely work towards a lot of defense. So you will try to lessen your expense. You will try to create different type of arrangements in life that reduces the cost of everything, which is good. It increases the efficiency, but you should not become paranoid. You should not become too obsessed with this emotion. Mars 4th aspect will be on the 3rd house, which shows that to protect interest of your siblings, you will be ready to commit some sacrifice. Mars 7th aspect falls on the 6th house. This is where you will have to be careful because this can increase unnecessary debts and you can invest money which can turn into loss. So don't do anything as a knee-jerk reaction, as an expression of revenge or to prove a point. Be very matured at this point. Anger is not the solution. Now when Mars and Rahu is in the 12th house, this can hurt marriage because Mars will have a 8th aspect on your 7th house, and your 7th house is Libra, and when Mars aspects Libra, this can create imbalance in your life. Maybe you are working too hard, maybe you are not getting enough recognition at this point, but understand one thing, that Jupiter is in the 2nd house. Everything positive will happen for Aries. Just allow Mars to cross the position of Rahu and things will become better. But with respect to marriage, you need to keep your anger and domination away. Anything wrong and you can face a challenge, especially with the cops. Be very polite and humble, and you will see that Mars in the 12th house will not only make you much more stronger, but also it will give you a shape in life. Imagine a katana sword. The iron has been shaped in a certain way, but that iron, the hot iron, must be cooled. So imagine your hot iron is being put into the water. It may sound a lot, it may release a lot of heat, it may seem to be chaotic, but when you pull the sword out, that's a perfect shape, a perfect weapon. So this can sharpen your skills. Utilize Mars in the 12th house to focus on your subconscious mind. Avoid watching horror movies, avoid listening to sad songs. Watch something that motivates you, that makes you happy, and follow your passion. Taurus. Now for Taurus ascendant, and even if you're Taurus moon sign, Mars rules your 7th and 12th house. Now that is interesting, right? Mars is ruling your circumstance, but it also rules your subconscious mind. It also controls marriage and expense, and that Mars goes in the 11th house. So this means you will try to control your expense, especially if you're running a business. But you may end up spending on things that you don't need. Maybe you are a hoarder and you are buying things with future anticipation, but be careful because you may not need those things. One good thing is that Jupiter will move in your first house a week after Mars transit and will stabilize it. But because Mars is with Rahu and Jupiter is going in a combust motion in the future, ultimately Rahu can manipulate your mind. That means somebody is there which is influencing you. Now you have to observe whether that influence is good or that influence is bad. Now that influence can be to take bold steps in life. I'm not finding anything wrong if you take a bold step, but again the question is how big your appetite is and how much can you absorb. Because say if you have a factory, let's say example, and that output of the factory is 100,000 units a day. Given enough manpower, the efficiency can be increased to 150,000 units per day. That means you cannot, by any chance, take a contract of 200,000 units a day. What this Mars Rahu will do, it will make you believe that no, you can do it. You may know that you cannot do it, but somehow you will believe, and when Jupiter comes out of combustion on your Lagna, you will realize that there has been a mistake. This can increase loans. This can increase unnecessary load on finances. Remember, when Mars is in the 11th house, it is your 12th lord in the 11th house. It is Bhavat Bhavam, so it converts your losses into gains. But because of the presence of Rahu, you can leave the track and go into a completely different agenda. You may be manipulated, so be careful. Do not spend too much if you are with friends. We friends have a great bonding. It's a very beautiful relationship, but you must know your limits. Also, Mars will have an aspect on the 2nd house, which means that you may rebel against your own family. Control your anger and control the way you behave with your family members. Also, how you regulate your finances. This Mars have the 7th aspect on the 5th house, and when Mars is having 7th aspect on the 5th house, it means that you would want to increase and improve your productivity. You might expand your team because of this, but you will see that there is always a trade-off, and there is always so much you can achieve even by expanding a team unless you redesign the entire process. So if you really want to work on your efficiency, you will have to work on complete redesign. One good thing is that if your income actually increases, and if you are careful in your actions, you will gain, and this will help you cut down the debts. So there is one way to handle this. Focus on targeted gains and profits, be it in your career, so that you can cut down your debts. That should be your intent. Chanting Ranamochan Angarak Stotra is going to be a beautiful remedy for Taurus Ascendant and Taurus Moon sign natives. But taking major decisions after Jupiter comes out of combustion, do subscribe my channel and keep watching my videos because I will upload a Jupiter combust video very soon. When Jupiter will come out of combustion, things will become a lot better. Allow that much of time for Mars, and between 12th and 20th of May, be careful. Gemini. Now, if you are a Gemini ascendant, Mars rules your 11th house and Mars rules your 6th house. Now, because Mars is ruling two Upachya houses, 6th and 11th, two houses responsible for running the day-to-day activities of our life, and this Mars is going in Pisces in the 10th house, it is quite important that you take care of your job. People who are working in foreign, people who are working overseas will see great boost, and people who want to pursue their education or career outside their home location will see great career boost when Mars goes in Pisces. It definitely talks about your eagerness to expand your horizon, learn a new domain. So people might also shift domain during this time, and it is good for people who want to experiment new things. For people who want to launch a new business or a startup, it can be a great opportunity, but you will have to be very careful. Otherwise, you will end up losing more money than you have prepared yourself for. So that is one angle where you will have to be very alert and very observant. On the other hand, if you see that the sun is also in the Aries zodiac sign, and sun will then move to Taurus zodiac sign around mid of May. It will join Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter will go combust. So you can understand lot is happening in your 11th house. That means you can't expect lots and lots of profit to come immediately. Mars is also going to hit Rahu, and this can confuse your path. So for now, all your thoughts that are you're generating a lot of ideas, write it down, take actions after 18th of May, but be very careful with your people around your workplace, because you can go into a very bad fight. If you're working from a remote location, if you are a freelancer, this can bring tremendous amount of opportunities, and it can make you extremely hardworking, dedicated, and it can give you a lot of opportunities from the career front, especially if you're working as a contract employee, if you're working in the form of like a freelancer. Even if you are an influencer, if you are into media, if you are into editing, if you are into energy sector, thermal energy, geothermal energy, it is going to be a great opportunity. For automobile sector also, for Gemini, Ascendant and Moon sign, for automobile sector is also going to show great boost. Now your career is where you will draw inspiration from. That area, your workspace, your home office, your office setup in your company, that energy should be made very positive. Do not use a lot of dark colors, black and red in that place, and try to make that place a very happy one. Mars 4th aspect falls on your ascendant, so career is influencing your life. Also, Mars aspect on the 4th house shows that there can be a fight between your parents, which can trouble your mind a bit. Be careful, do not try to engage yourself in that argument. And Mars's 8th aspect falls on your 5th house, so you need to have a balance between work and profession and your personal life. Give some time to your children if you have children, and if you are young or elderly, take care of your health. You may be very aggressive, but you will see that this can cause an emotional burnout, and this can give you anxiety. So balance and everything will be all right. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa will be a brilliant remedy for all of you. Cancer zodiac sign. For Cancer ascendant, Mars will move in your 9th house. And this 9th house Mars will trigger a lot of travel related stuff. A lot of people might go for adventure sports somewhere in the world. And a 9th house Mars means sometimes you are trying to work to change your destiny, because 10th Lord is Mangal for you, 5th Lord is Mangal for you. And when 10th and 5th Lord comes in the 9th house, it is a big Rajyog, because first of all, 5th house is 5 places away. So it's a Bhavad Bhavam for you. That means it will give you new opportunities to learn. Someone who is into engineering, someone who is into advanced technology, for you this is going to be a great time. You will be able to secure your job. And one more thing will be that a lot of people will be resigning, especially if you are a Cancer moon sign. You will be resigning during this time, and you will try to explore new fields, new horizon. Maybe someone will try to go abroad, someone will shift their focus to education. Many will find the need of change, but may not change obviously depending upon the requirements of your life. But there will always be an eagerness to explore. So what should you do? Travel, or at least go to nearby places. Shift the way you sleep in your home, and also go to a Hanuman temple every single day and chant Hanuman Chalisa standing in the temple. It's a 9th house, right? So 9th house is obviously temple, pilgrimage. And when Mars and Rahu goes there, it shows that being the 5th and 10th Lord, you are putting an attempt to be more spiritual. Just that you can be very egoistic, because it is Pisces. It can you can lose your track, and you can assume that you are reaching a higher state of consciousness, whereas it is only Maya playing its game. Be careful. This Mars has 4th aspect on the 12th house, so this Mars will give you some room, some relief from unnecessary expenses, as well as medically. This is going to be a good transit. This is going to help you recover from diseases, although you may have to use a lot of artificial means. But Mars will have 8th aspect on your 4th house, which means you will be unhappy with your current state, and maybe that is why you are pushing yourself for the much necessary change. The only thing is, it's okay to be unhappy so that it motivates you for further change. But if change is not happening, you should try to keep yourself happy by traveling, seeing new things, reading books, keeping your mind open, trying to explore new horizons. But don't reject the very thing on which you are standing. You cannot see, if you are standing on a stool, you don't want to kick that stool if you don't have any other place to stand. You will fall down. So respect on what you are standing, but always keep your head high and keep exploring. This is a highly exploring transit. Blessings of Hanumanji will be all of us. Leo. If you are a Leo ascendant, Mars will move in your 8th house. Now for Leo, Mars is a very important planet. It's a lord of 4th house, it's lord of 9th house, it's lord of Kendra, it's lord of Trikona. When it goes in the 8th house, this is when you would want to take some risk. This is going to force you to initiate a change, but this change, remember, is going to be triggered because of a fear or a negative emotion or reaction, and this is where you will have to be very, very cautious. Mars and Rahu in the 8th house may make you fight unnecessary devil. That means the demon that doesn't exist, but you are believing that there are demons ahead. Issues in the finances of your spouse or in the family of your spouse, that means their parents, is going to create tensions in your life. So be careful while you're handling such matters in life. Also, it is going to give you a deep insight into some critical issues of life. And you will see Mars and Rahu in the 8th house can also help you do that Samudra Manthan and get the toxicity out of your body and mind. So a lot of people will go for greater detoxification during this time, using Ayurveda, holistic practices, massage, oil therapies, aromatherapies, acupuncture, acupressure. All this will be helpful during this time, apart from all the traditional practices. Now when Mars is in 8th house, it will aspect the 11th house, and because it is your 4th lord going in the 8th house, you might see a change of place, a change of home. This can be triggered because you want to earn more money. You can start a partnership with your family members during this time. And because it is your 9th lord going in 8th house, the luck may not favor you. So be careful if you are using, if you're doing any stock trading or any other speculative type of business, luck may not favor you. 8th house Mars can create unnecessary fight and quarrels, especially because it is with Rahu and it is in Pisces. So it can make things bigger, and you may assume things to be a bigger one than it is actually in size. So it is like a demon which is assumingly very big, but in reality it is nothing. So be careful there. Mars 8th aspect will fall on your 3rd house, and therefore this fear might also trigger a reaction or can stop you from doing certain good things. So here the recommendation is use the power of Jupiter in Taurus, which will be in the 10th house, and seek guidance, constant guidance and constant support and constant explanation by an external person, maybe a healer, astrologer, guru, father. The person whom you trust will be very helpful during this time. When Mars is with Rahu in the 8th house, avoid eating seafood if possible. Also avoid watching anything that can scare you, that can trigger that emotion out of you, like horror movies or something like that. Also stop any argument with anyone. Not a great time to launch a court case or fight with someone, because 8th house is a problem for you. It is only going to come back to you, and the energies that you radiate in the cosmos will come back. So start radiating positivity. Speak the truth, but in a manner that is more diplomatic, because Mars Rahu in 8th house means you are going to hide a lot of things, and you will be forced to hide. It is more about a transit of secrecy. Be careful because this can hurt your health. You need to communicate, but you need to find the right channel to communicate. Maybe the right person. Maybe you have to talk to a counselor so that you can communicate properly. If you don't have anybody to communicate, or maybe the information is not that you can't tell and that you cannot tell to anyone, you have to write it down, burn the paper, or you can shred it out so that the information gets deleted. Avoid going closer to the ocean. Avoid swimming during this time. There can be a chance of electrocution when there is a lot of water around you. So if you're playing with like in the bathroom, or if you're using electrical appliances, be careful. Also, try to use a lot of Chandra mantra. Chandra Gayatri mantra will help you balance the water element in the body, therefore controlling the fire and air of Mars and Rahu. Also, going for an Ayurvedic Tridosh balancing, Vata Pitta Kapha balancing will be very helpful for someone who is in need. Chanting Hanuman Chalisa and donating food will be an excellent remedy. Virgo. For Virgo ascendant, Mars will move in your 7th house. Now, when Mars is in the Saptama Bhava, it is combining itself with Rahu, and therefore this might be a little inauspicious for people who have went into new marriages, who have just married, or who is about to get married. You have to be careful and cautious because 7th house is about relationship, and both Mars and Rahu want to conquer and win. And 7th house is exactly opposite of conquering and winning. Rather, it is the house of diplomacy, it is the house of partnership, and it is not that one should win over another. So both Rahu and Mars may create certain trouble, certain conflicts, arguments, point of opinion differences. So be careful and try to be as polite as possible. And when Mars is in the Pisces zodiac sign, it's a time rather to invest your energy in new business ventures, new career opportunities, meeting new people, and finding out ways by which you can improvise on your current structure, current business, and current hierarchy. Now, this does not mean that marriages cannot happen. You might not meet your life partner. You have to see that your 8th lord is coming in the 7th house. That means sudden changes in your business might trigger a major increase in production, major increase in efficiency, and this might make you reach the global audience. This might suddenly explode the business, but in a positive sense, so which is also good for you. But because you have to use Martian and Rahu energies, you have to focus more on technology. People who are involved in technology sector, people who want to do business or job in energy sector, automobile sector, IT and communication, electrical, electronics, or any such related field, this is going to be a very good time. Now, people who have transport related business will also see growth, and from the health perspective, you will have to be slightly careful. Libra. Now, in case of Libra, Mars will move in your 6th house. Now, you have to understand that Mars is a 2nd and 7th lord. So, Mars is a very important planet and something that rules your personal space. And that planet going in 6th house will definitely interfere in your personal life. Now, Mars is also with Rahu. Although Mars loves 6th house, but try to understand, a war, a battle in the personal front is never happy. It's not going to make you live a good life. So, Mars in 6th house may be you may utilize this energy to resolve issues in the personal life, but this does not mean that everything will be smooth. But this is the time to solve the problem. And in case you are having problems in your career, or you are having problems in finding the job, or you are having problems in maintaining good relationship with people around you, this might be the time to create a mask, to create a kind of a different attitude. It may be a time to change the way you approach, and this will help you. Mars in 6th house will greatly help you. But try to avoid fight and conflicts, because this can create fights that can last for generations. This can create conflicts that might never end. And Rahu's presence in 6th house is like, you can say the Mars and Rahu are creating strategies for war. But what if everything is smooth in your life and there is no war? What should you do then? Utilize that time for self-improvement. Utilize that time to heal yourself. Utilize that time to play a sport. Be very active in life. And if you're an athlete, it is a very good time for you. For a layman, I will say become more and more physically active. See, Jupiter will also go in your 8th house, and therefore it really wants you to focus your time, money, efforts towards health. Health should be your priority in 2024. And when you move in that direction, Mars will give you enough room to work, enough support to come to you. Maybe water therapies, oil therapies. When you sweat a lot after a good hard work in the gym, that is what is going to help you. And with that, because you're burning calories, you will also lose weight. You will also feel good about yourself. You will also feel confident. Also, it is going to correct a lot of mental traumas. You will be feeling more uplifted because Mars is in the 6th house. But if you are lazy, if you are not utilizing this energy in that space, then it will start interfering and it will start creating financial issues. You might encounter that you are creating more debt than before. Your credit card usage has increased, and suddenly Mars is pushing you to travel. You are itching to get out of your house, leave your family behind, find a place for yourself, and maybe you're finding the existing place too conflicting in nature. Now, Mars in 6th house also have an aspect on the 1st house. Therefore, this Mars and Rahu has the tendency to create circumstances such that fighting them alters yourself. It alters your own parameters, and you slightly become a different person after that war. So be careful. A 6th Mars is ideally very good because it's a tamasic planet sitting in a Trik Bhava. But then if you are already in a problem, chant Hanuman Chalisa. And if everything is good in your life and you're watching this video, in spite of everything is perfectly fine, focus on the gym, hard work, Kriya Yoga, Hatha Yoga. Scorpio. Now, in case of Scorpio, Mars rules your 1st house and it rules your 6th house. This Mars goes in the 5th house. It is a very good transit. First of all, your ascendant lord comes in the Panchama Bhav, 5th house. Then your 5th lord is going in the 7th house and is going to aspect the ascendant. Then there is a loss of the 6th house because 6th lord is placed in the 5th house. So you will see that you will be greatly protected. If you are in some sort of trouble, you will get divine interference. You will see that the gods will come to your rescue, maybe in form of information, maybe in form of a human. Because 1st lord in 5th house or 5th lord in 1st house are a big Raj Yoga position. But what it wants you to do is be an empty cup. It wants you to learn new things, unlearn, create the curiosity and explore the world. Mars and Rahu is very good for engineering, innovation. So if you want to launch a startup, perfect time for that. You can plan something, you can create new ideas, and this will give you new avenues in life. Mars and Rahu in the 5th house will also accelerate your source of income because of their aspect in the 11th house. Also, Jupiter aspecting 11th house is another add-on that through your knowledge, through the certification, through your hard work, you will be able to secure a good career, especially if you are a student preparing for competitive examinations, preparing for engineering examinations, or if you want to launch an engineering startup related to space, electronics component, computer parts. It is a very good time for all of you. But remember, Pisces is after all a water zodiac sign. Mars and Rahu in Pisces may also mean that there can be a little bit of water imbalance in the body. The level of acid may increase, so be careful. Eat positive food. Do not, I repeat, do not eat tamasic food. Now, if you see Scorpio, the position of Saturn with respect to Scorpio is such that Saturn sits in your 4th house, and Saturn aspects the 10th house as well as your ascendant. And when Jupiter comes in the sign of Taurus on 1st of May, 7 days after Mars's movement, you will see that Jupiter's energy will somehow expand your horizon. Now, Jupiter is expanding Mars's zodiac sign, and Mars is in Jupiter's domain of Pisces. That means it is totally the responsibility of Jupiter to expand your identity. The only problem is if you are following the path of Rahu, if you are following the path of misguidance, if you are becoming too greedy, if you want name and fame, quick success immediately, and the moment you see that the problems are being solved automatically and the solution is being taken care of, you become complacent, you drop your guard, and you think or assume that this is how it is going to be in the future. That is when the problem will arise. When gods are supporting you, you should, instead of putting yourself backward, you should do more, because now you have a support. You should accelerate the process. So see, this is the time when you should carefully, tactfully accelerate, plan and then move, rather than sitting idle. Inertia of rest will be very high because of Saturn in the 4th house, and therefore you need to leave your comfort zone. So somebody who is hardworking, somebody who can move mountains, somebody who is ready to cross the seas will see great boost. People who are looking for promotion, people who are looking for increase in income, people who are looking for growth in business, you will see great boost when Mars is in 5th house. Because Mars 8th aspect falls in the 12th house, it cuts down your expenses and you will see that you will have sufficient amount of money. And this is an advantage of Mars in 5th house. And because of this, chant Angarak Stotra and continuously chant Hanuman Chalisa. Sagittarius. Now, if you are a Sagittarius ascendant or even Sagittarius moon sign native, Mars movement in 4th house is very, very important for you. Why? Because see, Mars is your 5th lord and 12th lord. When it comes in the 4th house, it gives you opportunity to launch a new business, open a new office, maybe buy a new property and asset, because it's your expense lord coming in the 4th house. So your expenses is more about investments. You will cater more to your comfort zone. So you will buy things that gives you comfort. But also Mars is not actually a planet of comfort. 4th houses. So what is Mars doing in 4th house? It wants to improve you technologically. It wants you to buy more weapons. Weapons as in new knowledge, books, not the real weapon but the information one. So Mars and Rahu in the 4th house wants you to work more towards accelerating your knowledge and wisdom, so that it starts showing the effect in the 10th house, your career. And therefore, this means diversifications are possible, new partnership is possible. But because it is Pisces zodiac sign, you might lose the context very quickly. So in your mind, if you move without a plan, without a 5-year strategy or 2-year, 3-year strategy, you may be losing the battle very quickly. So be careful there. Also, it's your 5th lord going in the 4th house, which means that you need to be very productive at your own home. You have to regulate your sleep and comfort while Mars falls in the 4th house, because this can disturb your sleep and this can disturb the entire body pattern. So on the other hand, this will break your rhythm and can affect your productivity. So be careful there. Mars's 4th aspect will fall on your 7th house. Therefore, matters at home, in marriage, or even advancements in business can make you very active and sometimes can make you sometimes anxious, which may again reflect in you losing your comfort zone. Maybe you are happy doing what you're doing, but you need to listen to your own body also. Mars being in 4th house and being the 12th lord can increase a lot of expense, which can disrupt the way you earn money. Now, you should not launch a business at this point of time if you're not comfortable doing it. You should not start something that you don't know what to do with that. Rather go slow and allow Mars to enter the 5th house. And you will see the moment Mars enters 5th house, it is in its own domain. And because the moment Mars will enter 5th house, it will stop the unnecessary expense from Scorpio. So that is how you should, arrange the energies around. Also, chanting Hanuman Chalisa every single day, showing your devotion to Bhagwan Hanuman is a very good remedy for Mars transit in Pisces. Capricorn. Now for Capricorn, you will see that Mars will move in your third house, and because Mars is moving in the third house, it is going to make you take certain initiatives, because Mars is Digbali in this particular bhava. Because Mars gains strength, but because Rahu is present and because it is Pisces zodiac sign, you have to understand that the way Mars will function will be very loose. That means there is no fixed approach of this Mangal, but rather this Mangal would want you to apply all sorts of pressure from all directions in order to execute a task. Why? Because if you observe, Mars's fourth aspect falls on your sixth house. Now, if Mars' fourth aspect falls on the sixth house and Mars itself is the Lord of the fourth house and Lord of the 11th house, then definitely it wants you to destroy the enemies, work on the problems so that you get back your comfort, your lost comfort. It wants you to fulfill your wishes, and for that it will make you travel. So for people who want to travel abroad, people who want to travel to a different city or country for education, to fulfill your dreams of employment, if you want to say expand your business outside your local zone, then this Mars will give you that opportunity and will fulfill your wish. But the only problem is that you have to create your own destiny. You will have to make sure that you are strong enough to write your name on water. Now, when Mars and Rahu come together in the third house, this can be excess hard work, and hard work of high magnitude, which can backfire. Too much of anything is bad, so be careful that you should not burn out your energy. And if you feel that you are having some illness or sickness and you are unable to perform well, apart from all the medicine and all the medical treatments, take energy based treatments also. Use a lot of rose quartz crystal, meditate a lot, and try to utilize your hands in some creative activity. Maybe learn a music, play an instrument, maybe write a poetry, do some creative thing, because Pisces is very philosophical zodiac sign, and Mars here wants you to pen down your own feelings. Journaling will be a very good remedy here. For people who are writers who want to publish their book, this is really a very good time for you, because if you want to publish your book, Mars in the third house will take you to different places, will give you experience, and you will be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So to achieve your dreams, to fulfill your goals, to reach a certain destination, this is a very good transit. Therefore, people who are in travel industry, tourism industry, who are in the aviation industry, who are in railways, or if you're preparing for such similar examination, it's a very good opportunity for you. The only thing is that this Mars will create disruptive force. Say you do something that kind of disrupts the market. Why? Because this Mars has 8th aspect on the 10th house. Maybe you are too eager to change your career. Maybe you are taking certain steps that changes your domain, that changes your alignment with your career, and you are doing something new. Because Rahu's presence is there, my recommendation will be that think 10 times before you take a call of quitting your job, changing your career, or even doing anything remotely associated with career or even business. Do not test your luck during this time. Just because something is going in your favor does not mean that it will always go. You need to trust yourself, and you will see that the result of your own karma will give you a lot of positive things. Not a great time to buy real estate, but if you want to invest in real estate remotely in a distance location, this can be a good time for that. But do not buy a house unless you really want to live in that house and you really want it won't bother you financially. For the time being, you can manage the way you are managing right now. I'm not talking about those cases where the essential part is very high. Even if you have to buy an asset, buy a property, you will have to be very careful, very logical, and you can justify your expense. And if you want to sell off something, if you want to sell a land, property, asset, company, this is really a good time. It's a great time to declutter your life. Also throw out all the old things, especially bad electronics that are water damaged in this time. Aquarius. Now for Aquarius, Mars will move in your second house, and this Mars is with Rahu. So this is going to give you lot of courage and lot of financial growth, lot of wealth enhancement, And Mars being a very important planet for you. If you remember, Mars is your 3rd lord and your 10th lord. And if this goes in the 2nd house, this shows that your career will give you tremendous amount of boost. Your efforts will now pay off and you will start gaining and you will start becoming more and more powerful during this time. If you are starting a new venture, if you are launching a new career, this is going to bring great changes in your life. Also, this is the time when your 2nd house, that means your family, will have some conflict, because after all, Mars and Rahu are 2 planets which do not function really well in the 2nd house with respect to your personal relations. So be careful, it can create conflict with your brother or your father. Now Mars will have 4th aspect on your 5th house, therefore this is going to increase the output of wealth. Also the wealth will become more productive, your assets will become more productive financially. So this is going to give you, at least from the money perspective, a very good time, very good experience. But from the personal life perspective, this can be a little challenging, considering that Mars aspects your 8th house also, thereby impacting your personal life as well as your spouse's personal and his family, his or her family, and it can create property related disputes in the family. So be mindful of that when you are dealing with Mars and Rahu conjunction, especially in the 2nd house. Also, you will have to be careful about any addiction, because you might feel the urge to drink alcohol. Tamasic planet in the 2nd house, such as Mars Rahu, can give you great desire for alcohol or smoking. So you might go for addiction to release the stress. You might justify it because you're earning more money. No amount of justification will make the toxic things become worthy of anything. Be careful. Also, you will have to be very careful while you're speaking, because one side you may be very assertive and powerful at your speech. On the other side, this can make you rude and make you sound very cunning, and the person who is listening may lose the interest. It can break partnerships because of any doubt created in people's minds. So be careful. It is like you are getting a lot of power. Use it wisely. Next, Mars will have 8th aspect on the 9th house. Therefore, this means that you might act as a rebel and you might follow your own way and therefore reject any guidance coming your way. Now, combine it with Jupiter going in Taurus. Now, Jupiter, which is in the sign of Aries, will move to Taurus, which is your 4th house. So again, this helps the 10th house. Career advancement is very much possible. But see what happens now. Jupiter aspects 8th house, which is Virgo. Mars and Rahu aspect 8th house, and 8th house as Ketu. That means it's a conflict. Jupiter will try to save you. Mars will say, no, you deserve it. Prove the people wrong. You know, Mars and Rahu is very high on energy and they want to fight and they want to win. It's overly masculine. Especially for females, this can be a little challenging because this can prove to be harmful overall. The best way to handle this is by praying to Ma Bhagavati, Ma Durga, by chanting Durga Kavach and Mahishasur Mardini Stotra, the Aigiri Nandini Stotra. Constantly taking the name of Ma Durga is going to help you control this masculine urge by the feminine energy of Ma Durga, and this Mars and Rahu will be like a lion which is nothing but a savari of Ma Bhagavati. So you understand that by praying to Ma Durga, by praying to the divine feminine, the Shakti, you can control and manage this Shakti that is being offered by Mars and Rahu for good and positive purpose, and not to demean someone, not to, because the moment you will show the energy, your throat chakra is going to radiate that energy. Someone who has control can do wonders with it. If you don't have control, you will end up hurting people. So be very careful. Saturn is in your 1st house in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which means your personality will also change. Ensure that you are changing by yourself, not that because of a feedback or criticism, you are forced to change. Pisces. Now for Pisces, Mars will be entering in your 1st house. Now Mars for you rules your 9th house, and Mars for you rules your 2nd house. Now see, when Mars is ruling your 2nd house and 9th house, it is actually a Rajyog Karak planet. 2nd is wealth, 9th is your destiny, 9th is your Guru's guidance, and such Mars coming in your 1st house is a big blessing. Your 9th Lord is now in the 1st house, your 2nd Lord is now in the 1st house. So things will start moving in your favor. With the presence of Rahu, instead of going negative, this will accelerate the process. So a lot of work that was stuck will now move in the positive direction, and there will be a lot of acceleration in your life. Although Pisces is a very chilled out zodiac sign, there is a lot to explore. So Mars and Rahu may not be very happy with what you get because you may see too many things to be done. Go slow, take one step at a time, and you will be able to complete all the tasks because Mars is favoring you. Now Jupiter also comes in the 3rd house and starts aspecting the 9th house. So 9th house is aspected by Jupiter, 9th lord on Lagna in the house of Jupiter. So the guidance is coming your way. All you have to do is follow the advice of the elderly, of the learned people, maybe follow astrology, and you will see that you will be guided. And Mars in the 1st house is Mars with enthusiasm, Mars with a lot of creativity. And this is a very poetic Mars. So this is a Mars that will laugh in the battlefield and dance and rejoice the battle itself. And this is very scary for the enemies, very scary for the opponents. This is a time when you can win over your enemies. This is the time when you can win the competition, but do not have lot of pride or lot of overconfidence, because that is where Rahu comes into play, and something extra like going beyond the limit will be bad for you. Take care of your physical energies. Don't drain your energy completely. Focus on what is right and what is wrong. And Mars's aspect on the 4th house kind of makes you very comfortable, gives you a good sleep, but also gives you energy. So you can manage your vitamins, you can manage your food, and you will be re-energized by this Mars transit. Also, Mars aspect on the 7th house means it is going to impact marriage. Now this is one area where Mars will not perform well, because too much of heavy energy on the 7th house means you will have to be very polite and careful. And the moment you try to take too much of control, marriage is one area where control will not work and things will disintegrate. So be careful on that part. Mars in the 1st house may may make you spend a lot of money, especially on yourself. You may dissolve some of your investment thinking that because luck is favoring you, maybe you will buy something, maybe you will invest somewhere. Be very careful, especially while starting a new business, launching a new product, or even going into a new partnership during this time. Yes, Jupiter is aspecting, but Jupiter is combust. So you need to weigh out all the pros and cons before you go into any partnership or even launching a new business. If things are going good, let it go. Do not touch, keep things business as usual. When Mars is in the 1st house, chanting Durga Kavach or Hanuman Chalisa will be a brilliant remedy for you. This is a very good time. Make the best use of it.